To Read the Room,
A Culture Club.
A podcast by
Alexys.
Kaylin.
and Larsen.
Today, our episode is a celebration of the annual Independent Bookstore Day.
Independent Bookstore Day is held on the last Saturday in April to celebrate independent bookstores across the country, online and in store.
But usually bookstores have kind of like a long weekend version
Mhm.
of Independent Bookstore Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a weekend-long celebration. And this in 2026 is the 13th annual celebration for independent bookstores.
Yeah, which honestly, I would have assumed this would have been like a much longer tradition. I would have assumed this would have been, I don't know, at
Well,
least 20 years, but
we didn't have to have it.
yeah, say we didn't have those pressures. But you would think they would be celebrating themselves anyway.
Capitalism drives all things. So if you're listening on the day that this comes out,
Mhm.
Thursday, then you can celebrate Independent Bookstore Day this upcoming
Yes.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we encourage we encourage you to do that. We did a little bookstore crawl last year
Yeah.
through Sacramento, and that was really fun.
I was one of the winners. I won 3 different gift cards.
Let's see.
I won a hat, I won a tote bag, I won a journal, I won a bookmark, a mug, a sticker, I think.
Yeah. And not only do like a lot of regions have crawls where you can win things like Larsen did,
Mhm.
a lot of the bookstores themselves have their own things going on, whether that's
Yeah.
just giving away cupcakes or having like some sort of other like pop-up or party or
Mhm.
anything to like kind of add a little bit more to that day
Yes. And
or weekend.
if you go to our Instagram with this episode announcement, we will post a list of independent bookstores across different regions in California and a couple other hotspot locations that you can visit. But if you're not in one of those regions that we shout out, then we encourage you to look up independent bookstores in the region that you're in because there are oftentimes events like Larsen, you won the raffle through
Mhm.
Sacramento's Read the Region event, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And if you are Sacramento, Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, or Granite Bay local, you can visit Capitol Books, Crawford's Books, Underground Books, Amatoria Fine Art Books, East Village Bookshop, Wild Sisters Book Co., Ruby's Books, A Seat at the Table Books, Pleasant Pheasant Books, Old Haunt Bookshop, and Bloodstone Books. Those are participating, all of them, in a Read the Region event where if you visit them this weekend, you can be entered into a raffle to win something just
Yeah.
like Larsen.
Yeah, and actually that's more bookstores than last year. They've
Yeah, I was thinking
increased the
that.
list, and they also changed the format. Last year it was a $10 purchase minimum to enter for each spot, and this year they got rid of that minimum.
Nice.
Yeah, a little more
Yeah.
accessible because if you hit all, what is it this year, like 13 or something?
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's
I think it's 13 or
$130
14.
easy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money. So I
Right.
like, as much as it obviously is nice to
Support those
spend your
stores, yeah.
money at these independent bookstores, it's also nice that it's more accessible to people to enter these raffles.
For sure.
Yeah, especially like if you're buying a new book at any of these stores, if it's going to be over $10, it's going to be at least $15, $20.
Yeah.
So if you can buy a sticker or a bookmark or a bag, like that's you're still supporting, and that makes it so much more accessible.
Yeah. And I would just like to say too, if you live somewhere that does not have an in-person independent bookstore, because not every community does, really great places to buy books online that still support independent bookstores is bookshop.org. You can set the your store preferences to any independent bookstore that is using their system. So I like to, if I ever buy books online, I like to have it set to the Homer bookstore, my hometown one in Alaska. And any book that I purchase through them, some of the proceeds helps that
You
bookstore.
can stay that bookstore.
Yeah.
Keep that bookstore alive.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Libro FM if you want to do audiobooks. So if you can't go in person, those are two great options if online is where you like to purchase.
Nice.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. And we'll make sure that links to those go
Yeah.
into our bio on the day that this episode drops as well. How how did Indie Bookstore Day start? I'm so curious.
Well, in 2015, a lady named Samantha Shoke, a writer, copywriter, and editor, and she's involved in the Northern California Independent Booksellers Association. I'm not sure exactly where in Northern California, but it's
Mhm.
cool that it did start in Northern California. I
Yeah.
feel like shocking to me sometimes when I find out things are started here for some reason. But in 2015, over 400 independent bookstores participated in the first event, which I feel like that is
Wow.
great work
Those are
on
Yeah.
Samantha's. Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of as we've already touched on, the days aim to help bookstores have higher sales and merchant in their merchandise, help bring a spotlight to the potential of these indie bookstores, and also to kind of like refocus on traditional print as we move into a more digital age, a less tangible age. But I think it's a really great community event.
It
Like we
yeah.
walked all over downtown Midtown in Sacramento last year, and a lot of places aren't that walkable, but still fun to get out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful April day normally.
Yeah.
Like
And also, it shows the community of booksellers in general. Like last year, one of the days, I think it was Saturday, which
Mhm.
is the obviously the biggest day for them. One of the bookstores in Sacramento, Beers Books, their internet went out.
Oh
Oh,
So
my
they,
gosh, I forgot about
yeah,
this.
they
Yeah.
couldn't process any card
Hmm.
transactions. They could only accept if you
no.
have cash. So then on Sunday, when everything was back up and running, other bookstores said, "Hey, we would love it for you to come to us, but we would rather you go to Beers instead because they didn't get the sales they needed
Yeah.
yesterday."
Yeah,
That's so communal.
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Which I think is like part of the spirit of celebrating independent bookstores, right? Is celebrating this community space that we
Mhm.
want to preserve because in the last, 13 years, in the last decade since Independent Bookstore Day has become an event, we have had a rapidly changing world
Mhm.
where we
Yeah.
are so used to everything being through a digital interface, a
Mhm.
consumer interface that provides like instant gratification. And so many people are buying through the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
right? Which is Amazon and other big box online retailers. So with such a ever changing world that's
Mhm.
ever digitized, like
Mhm.
it's more important now than ever to like really try to lean into something that is community driven.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously this trend was happening before 2020, but
Mm.
I think 2020 really the pandemic specifically
Yeah.
really gave Amazon the opportunity to step into everybody's lives in a different way. Like
Mhm.
you couldn't go get toilet paper and you
Right.
couldn't go to Barnes and Noble. Like these stores, these places that you would go to would be closed or limited.
Mhm.
And it was a convenience just to have everything shipped. And obviously that was a thing before, but like
Yeah.
COVID, I mean, dramatically
Yeah.
changed how people buy things.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that the pandemic just kind of made Amazon a savior almost in a way,
Mhm.
right? Like here is this entity, this all powerful entity that's stepping in at a moment where people really need things and are very limited in how they can get them, and they're
Mhm.
delivering them right to your door.
Mhm.
You can't go out to the local bookstore, but you can order a book from Amazon, and it's like magic, it shows
Yeah.
up sometimes the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the real draw for a lot of people is that they're significantly cheaper on
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazon than in bookstores, even in bookstores like Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
And it's because Amazon, they don't care about losing money on
Mhm.
these books. And realistically, they're doing this so other booksellers can go out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to capitalize the market and they have other things to subsidize those losses.
Yeah.
Um
Actually, if a book I mentioned on an earlier episode in this podcast, um, The Bookshop by Evan Friss, and it
mhm.
goes into the history of American bookshops. While it is repetitive, um, they talk about how Amazon was started and how it really did start sucking from independent bookstores.
Mhm.
And Amazon's intention from the very beginning was to be this giant empire,
Yes.
but it was the easiest to start with books.
Mhm.
And because of that, we've had this like a waterfall effect
Yeah.
of everything since then. Like the intention wasn't to sell books. It wasn't
Mhm.
the intention wasn't to become the biggest bookseller.
Yeah.
but that was the stepping stone needed to get to where it is today. And there have been pretty dire like side effects because of that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And they've done it like really insidiously and really effectively. Like
Mhm.
Larsen was saying, by creating a marketplace that's so hyper competitive and undercutting the margins until they're so tight that sometimes Amazon is taking a loss. Traditional publishers, they really can't keep up with that kind of
Yeah.
pricing,
Mhm.
especially when you're making a print book, right? Because
Yeah.
obviously in the past like decade, in this time frame that we're talking about, we've seen a boom not just in people buying books online
Mhm.
but also in ebooks, which are in and of themselves not a bad thing, but there is going to always be a higher cost associated with producing a
Mhm.
print book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have to pay a lot more people.
Yeah, and those print books are what independent bookstores rely on, right?
Mhm.
That's their chief sales. And so when the margins on printing books becomes so razor thin, it not only, just kind of strangles independent bookstores, but also affects publishers.
Mhm.
And I think we've seen that big book like insidiousness even just in like the rise in how many people have to lean into self-publishing, like
Yeah. Yeah.
and publishers being less willing to even like take flyers or take risks
Mm-hmm.
on certain books getting into print in the first place. And when they do that, that also limits the stock that independent bookstores will have.
Yeah.
Whereas then if you're an online retailer who can now provide access to a self-published ebook, you have something an edge on the independent bookstores.
Yeah. One of the articles that I had read and prep for this is compared Amazon bringing a rocket to a knife fight. Like
Yeah.
what they're doing is nobody else has the ability to do it. And now in
Mm-hmm.
this age of shows, streaming shows, and Amazon has a huge hold in that too. I would assume
Mm-hmm.
if you have rights through Audible, through
Mm-hmm.
other forms of Amazon, you are probably a lot better chance of getting a show
Yeah.
and getting a show quickly.
Yeah.
Um
Well, I think something that's kind of interesting that's come out of the rise of Amazon is that it used to be independent bookstores butting heads with like Barnes and Noble and
mhm,
Borders RIP.
mhm.
And that was like the big box store.
Yeah.
And now because of Amazon, you have Barnes and Noble in working in tandem with independent bookstores. Obviously it's still competition, but like as explained in the bookshop um by Evan Friss, they say that kind of like it's almost like the canary in the coal mine. If Barnes and Noble
Yeah.
goes
Oh
down, like
God.
all those bookstores go down.
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble has actually been like one of the key reasons why there's been a rise in readers
Mhm.
and people buying books. One, they're all over the place. They're really accessible. The price point is maybe a little bit better. But like without Barnes and Noble, you don't have independent bookstores.
It's like an ecosystem,
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
Like
You have to have the big fish and the little fish.
yeah.
But
But if you
but
have one parasitic fish, it's eating all the fucking fish.
exactly. But
Yes.
that's why like there's a hierarchy of who you
Mhm.
should support and who you shouldn't. And where, what's your first option
Yeah.
all the way down to like n- never. Um and I think we could wrap it up with giving you guys a list of like if you can do this first. All these things to do to avoid Amazon, but like
Mhm.
you have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you do. I mean, obviously we've kind of outlined some of the evil of big book and big Amazon. There's a convenience factor there, but there's things that you can get from independent bookstores that you cannot from those big
Mhm.
box online retailers. And there's things that the independent bookstores will do for you
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
that the big guys will never ever do for you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Like
there's
talk to you.
like talk to you. I know that like one of the things that makes me really love independent bookstores is that to me they are like a third space,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? They provide a communal meeting ground. Even if I'm not going into an independent bookstore to attend an event, sometimes I go into like my local Beers is the closest independent bookstore to me.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I go in there just to walk around, just because it feels good to be around other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cozy, and they've got little chairs at the end of their aisles that you
Yeah.
can sit in as you browse. That communal feeling, along with a personalized aspect,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I think is in and of itself enough to trade the convenience for.
Yeah.
And you can get like a better curated selection or
Yeah.
personalized recommendations.
Yeah.
I think especially like local curated things. Like
Mhm.
I don't think you got that hiking book. I know you got it, but
Oh,
did you get it at the bookstore day? It was from an independent
yeah.
bookstore.
My timing was poor and I bought it the week before.
But like there's a lot of really cool, I was gonna say Sacramento has a lot of really cool history. Everywhere has a lot of really cool history and just like fun things to know about hikes and that stuff,
Mhm.
like kind of stuff to do. And you're not gonna get that from, I mean, you might maybe a Barnes and Noble, but
Mhm.
Amazon isn't gonna do that. Like there's
No.
no, they can't do that. They
Yeah.
might have an AI chatbot that will
Yeah.
lead you in that direction. But you're not gonna get the same experience even at a Barnes and Noble.
And just to add like a little bit more evidence for you, dear listener, about why independent bookstores ultimately are going to trump the convenience that you get from a big online retailer, is that, you might go into the independent bookstore and not immediately see the book that you could immediately search
Hmm.
online. But there are a lot of options in that personalized communal space to still get exactly what you want anyways. For instance,
Yeah.
one of the local stores that we've mentioned a lot, Beers, if you are looking for a book there and they don't have it because they have a lot of used books,
Hmm.
you can go to the front counter. You can tell them, hey, my name is, and I'm looking for a copy of Demon Copperhead. And they'll put it in their system. And when they get a copy donated or they buy a copy, they'll call you up so that you can come in and pick it up, which is just, that makes you feel really cared for.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's so
definitely.
personal.
Yeah, well, and you're like, that person's local to your community. They likely also live in
Mhm.
downtown Midtown. Like,
Mhm.
you're just connecting with more people too. Like, it's not even just the part of getting the book. Like, it's just being a part of your community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And even other stores that don't do exactly that. I know that many independent bookstores, if you say, hey, I would like a copy of X, Y, or Z, they will
Mhm.
order it for you
Hmm.
Yeah.
so that you can buy it through them. And so you might have to wait a teeny, teeny, tiny bit longer, but what you'll get in exchange
Mhm.
is connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you more money is staying in your local community. When you're buying elsewhere, it's going different directions. So, according to American Express, about 67 cents to the dollar stays in the local community when you're buying from a local bookstore versus 45 cents when spending at a big box store, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, etc. That's a significant amount of
It's a
money
big
when it adds
difference.
up.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that goes towards so many things in your community. That person is spending more money. They're able to do so much more personally and as a business with those dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the perfect world, support your independent bookstores.
Mhm.
That's the very first top of the
Take a
pyramid.
walk, touch grass, get a matcha, get in that bookstore.
Yeah. Independent bookstore. That's number 1. And I personally don't know where I put Barnes and Noble if I put
Mm.
that below the library because I personally would put local library higher,
Right.
Mhm.
again supporting your local community. But if we're going to talk about supporting organizations that are fighting against the
Yeah,
big bad,
Barnes and Noble's still in there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. I Yeah, I see the hierarchy and I see the importance of it, and like not lumping too much together when we talk about why and where we should support. I think that it's important for you to consider what your personal rankings are, because you have options. Like that is
Mhm.
that's the overall point, is that
Yeah.
you don't have to just go order from the first link that pops up
Well,
on Google.
and what I
Yeah.
would say too is like we completely understand that books are expensive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like there's it's insane to me to think that a paperback these days is $20.
Yeah.
Yeah. like ridiculous, actually.
It is insane, yeah.
So I completely understand somebody who's like, why would I spend $20 at this store when it's $10 on Amazon?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I raise you get it free from your library, you thrift it from a thrift store, a Goodwill, a whatever. Those books are $1, $2, $3. You can still find it cheaper. Maybe there's not that instant gratification, though you can get that in the library.
Yeah.
That exists.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Is maybe, you know, thrifting it, whatever, you're not that press the button, it's there in 2 days.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But there are ways to be a frugal reader
Mhm.
without supporting Amazon in any way.
For
Yeah.
sure. And I will say that, like, I think a lot of times people are like, they go to Amazon because it feels hopeless. They're
Mhm.
like, well, I know that like the system is fucked and I should be supporting my local community, and
Mhm.
but at the same time, like, I'm a drop in the bucket. What can I do to like change? Amazon will still exist whether I spend my money there or not.
Yeah.
To which I will say, one of the few powers that remains valuable in our
Yeah.
current society is consumer power.
Yeah.
Is the power
Is
of
that
the
money.
dollar.
Yep.
Where you put your money actually is very, very
Yeah.
important.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, and we might be getting a little off topic here, but I think we saw that with like the Target boycotts. Like there has been significant, I don't know if change is the right word, but there has been effects to Target.
With that in mind, like, this is a perfect example, using your money this weekend
Yes.
to support independent bookstores, either in person or online through bookshop.org and Libro FM. But supporting those independent bookstores with however much money, if it's $2, $5, $100, you know, whatever it is, this weekend is literally the perfect time
Yes.
to use your money to say something.
And also to see a bookstore you've never seen before and
Yeah.
just have fun.
Well,
Like,
and that's the thing too. Go out, go to these bookstores, walk around, have fun, hang out with your friends, and if you don't buy anything, you are still a positive presence.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, look at the covers. Ask the people near you. Have you read this one? What do you
Mhm.
think? Enjoy just getting to like explore the books that surround you when you go into a physical space as well,
Mhm.
because oftentimes when you buy something online, you're looking for something specific. Bookstores allow you to
Yeah.
explore.
Yeah.
Step out of the algorithm a little bit.
Yeah.
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 Browse, see what's out there.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer in that you do not have to spend any money to be a reader.
Mhm.
But if you're going to,
This is where you do it.
this is where you do it. Yeah. You want to support these local businesses. We got to keep them alive.
Yeah.
If you're in the Sacramento region, please join the Read the Region book
Mhm.
crawl. Maybe you'll see us. You don't know what we look like, but maybe you'll
Not
see
yet.
us. We'll be out there. We'll be crawling.
Maybe you'll be in a bookstore in Sacramento and you'll hear a voice and you'll be
Yeah.
like,
Like, oh, those loud bitches. Well, thank you guys so much for listening.
We hope you keep reading the room with us.
so keep checking back for more episodes every Monday and Thursday that dive into the spaces where literature, media, and culture meet.
Please reach out to us at readtheroom@gmail.com for feedback and topic suggestions.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at readtheroom_culture club for the most up-to-date podcast information.
If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen. And please, if you are not SAC local, drop in the comments your favorite independent bookstores.
Absolutely. And remember to take up space in whatever room you're in, except for in the bookstores. You might need to like keep your elbows in and kind of get skinny, but you know,
Be cozy.
have fun. Thank you.